Pet Pandemonium. Do you have a pet? Pets do the wackiest things. Ours were no different. We left for church that morning at 9 a.m., a peaceful Sunday outing filled with good intentions and hopes of spiritual refreshment. What we returned to, however, was not divinely inspired. It was something else entirely. Now Freckles was a cat, only in name and fur. Ostensibly domestic, but with the soul of a feline anarchist who, if given the chance, would probably have started a revolution in a cardboard box fort. That particular morning, she apparently sensed opportunity in our absence. Mom's massive stash of crochet yarn, previously safe in its giant bag, had been discovered. But instead of a paw here or a sniff there, Freckles had gone full Mission Impossible. Not only had she removed every ball of yarn from the bag, she had systematically unraveled each one with the precision of a criminal mastermind and the flair of an interior designer on their fourth espresso. She wove the yarn meticulously around the legs of every chair in the dining room, zigzagged through the couch legs, looped around the TV stand, snaked down the hallway, and up the staircase, and circled every bedpost, and then, because clearly the job wasn't finished, she descended down the stairs again, threading herself between the wooden spindles of the banister like a cat burglar in a laser maze. By the time we opened the front door and stood in stunned silence, Freckles was sitting in the corner looking very pleased with herself. It wasn't just a mess, it was a cathedral of chaos, a shrine to feline defiance. There was no saving the yarn. It had become one giant maddening knot that defied physics and hope. 3 people, a pair of scissors for each, and the better part of an afternoon were required just to free the furniture and recover what little dignity remained. Freckles? She took a nap. Her work was done. The hot dog incident. Freckles may have fancied herself an installation artist, but her true skill was in petty theft, and I mean petty. It was dinner time. We were having hot dogs, an easy, chaos-compatible meal for a household brimming with children. Ben, my younger brother, about 6 years old at the time, took his prized hot dog to the couch so he could eat in peace while watching TV, blissfully unaware that lurking behind him was a very different kind of predator. Freckles perched like a gargoyle on the back of the couch, motionless, calculating, pretending to be a casual observer of human nonsense. Ben, in his youthful wisdom, held his hot dog up near his face, nice and high to avoid dropping it. Then, as fate would have it, he looked away just for a moment, and that was all she needed. With the grace of a ninja and the ruthlessness of a pirate, Freckles extended one single clawed paw and yoinked the wiener right out of the bun. No hesitation, no remorse. Like some sort of carnivorous magician, the hot dog disappeared. She bolted from the scene, vanishing down the basement stairs with her tubular trophy before Ben even had time to blink. Ben looked down at the now depressingly empty bun in his hand. A thin smear of ketchup remained as the only evidence that there was ever a wiener in that bun. His chin trembled, his lower lip began to universal wibble of impending despair. The rest of us? Useless. My sister hit the floor laughing so hard she couldn't breathe. Someone else shot juice out of their nose. Mom leaned up against the kitchen counter, legs crossed, trying not to pee herself from laughter. And it was a complete collapse of compassion. But that's family for you, always there in your moment of need. Laugh until they cry. Boone, the dog we didn't know we wanted. So flash forward a few years, I'm married with kids, and my wife takes the little ones to Idaho to visit her family for a few weeks. I stayed behind for the first week because of work. Fair enough. About halfway through the week, I get an email from my brother-in-law. Wait until you see the neighbor's dog, he writes. It looks like a Jack Russell Terrier that got squashed down and stretched out like silly putty. I laughed and thought, poor guy, must be a real oddball. That was all the setup I got. Fast forward to me going down to join the family a week later. I pulled up into the in-laws' driveway and barely had gotten out of the car when my brother-in-law comes strolling out of the house laughing so hard he's doubled over. Hey, he shouts, gasping for breath. Remember that ridiculous-looking dog I told you about? I nodded yes. Well, it's yours now, I blinked. Wait, what? Turns out, this dog, some bizarre combination of a Jack Russell Terrier and a Dachshund, had been bullied by the neighbors' hunting dogs and didn't fit into their family lifestyle at all. When my wife noted to them that she thought he was a cute dog, they leapt at the chance to unload him. They just gave him to her. I had been outmaneuvered, diplomatically flanked. And so, this funny-looking, emotionally fragile dog with a body shaped like a sausage on little tiny legs became our newest family member. They kept the name given to him at birth, Boone. And bless him, he was a sweet dog, but he'd been through things. Anytime I even spoke to him, even gently, he'd cower in the corner and pee on the floor. We had adopted a dog who thought kindness was a trap. The Great Licorice Heist. Boone soon proved that looks weren't his only quirk. One night, while visiting the family in Idaho, all the kids were curled up on the living room floor watching a movie. Someone had given them a giant bag of red licorice, basically currency among the under 10 crowd. My son asked his cousin for a piece. Without breaking eye contact, his cousin handed him over one. A few minutes later, he asked for another. Same drill. Hand extended, licorice passed, eyes locked on the movie. By the third handoff, something felt off. My son turned and said, "Where's that licorice I asked for?" "I handed you 3 pieces, his cousin said. They both looked down in confusion. Then slowly, a head emerged between them. Boone, with the stealth of a snack-hardened criminal, gently reached up and took the 4th piece straight out of their hand. No eye contact, no apologies. He had been intercepting every handoff like a dog-shaped licorice ninja. They'd been duped, outwitted. Boone sat smugly chewing this evidence, unaware that he had just executed the most low-stakes Ocean's 11 caper in living room history. The iron digestive system. Boone had many talents. Digestion? That was one of them. There was this time he ate a full box of crayons. The yard sparkled with rainbow shrapnel for days. There was the hot rod incident, when we came home one afternoon to find Boone strutting around the lawn with an odd stiffness, looking over his shoulder with suspicion. Something was clearly wrong. Upon closer inspection, we discovered a 6-inch strip of hot rod pepperoni wrapper, still intact, protruding from his rear end like a tragic party streamer. The extraction process? Simple. I stepped on the wrapper, then gently encouraged Boone to keep walking forward. As he moved, the wrapper didn't. Success, but Boone's face, as he turned to inspect the situation, was one of pure confusion. There was also the rope saga. 8 inches of mystery rope consumed, digested sort of, and needing the same awkward unspooling method. And let's not forget the Halloween incident where Boone discovered unattended trick-or-treat bags and turned his colon into a wrapper chute. To this day, candy doesn't look quite the same to me. Creepy cryptid. Another good one? My friend Tom once had a fish tank. One Christmas morning he dashed downstairs excited to see what Santa had brought, only to freeze mid-step. Every fish in his tank had launched themselves out during the night, on the floor. The floor was covered with small, crispy aquatic corpses. Tom looked down and muttered, "I don't know why they got so excited. They weren't getting anything." But Tom's best pet story? The salamander. He once caught a very small salamander in a local frog pond. He kept it in a tank in his room. One day he came home from school and retreated to his room to find the lid on his salamander tank was ajar. The salamander was nowhere to be found. Tom quickly searched the house, frantically looking for the small amphibian, which he had to find before his mom returned home from work. If she found out there was a live salamander roaming the house freely, she would lose her mind. All efforts were made, but no salamander was found. Life went on with no signs of the salamander anywhere. Roughly 6 months later, Tom's mother went down the stairs into the basement like she often did to put some laundry into the washing machine. Suddenly there came a blood-curdling scream from the basement with Tom's mom running up the stairs frantically. He asked her what was wrong, and she exclaimed there was a giant lizard in their basement. Tom went downstairs to investigate, and after a small search found his long-lost salamander. It had been living in the moist, cool basement, subsisting on spiders and other bugs since it had escaped. Problem was that by this time it was nearly a foot long because of the plentiful nutritious bugs found in that basement. After all the dust settled and the salamander was released back into the wild, Tom's mom exclaimed that she was a little curious about why there were less insects in the basement lately. Now these are not the only pet-related stories. Another friend had a hilarious budgie named Puffer, but That story is for another day. Thanks for coming and enjoying our pet-related chaos. I hope you enjoyed it. If this video gets 100 likes, I will bring out the epic tale of Puffer the bulbous blue budgie. And you'll definitely want to hear that one. Thanks for taking the time to make our family a part of your family. Come back often. Do all of the things that help me out. It's only a few clicks for a subscribe and to drop a like and to comment. See you next time.